Here's Johnny. Thank you. Well, hello there, social media friends. Being person among yourselves, uh, subscribers, and visitors alike who are affiliated or associated with and are representing my own particular YouTube social media channel, Glass Chat Room. How are you all doing? Well, that is something just give a moment of time. Well, hopefully each and every one of you is doing okay at least. If not better yet to be said, all right. There is supposed to be a difference, you know. My best of all to be put like this here. Whereas any of your persons, you and yours, your family and friends, loved ones, as well as me and mine, could possibly claim to have become a given status, whereas you can say, your ship has come in. Do you have hit the lottery or not? For the big cash prize winners or received an inheritance from a long lost old fart of age to now up in age relative, or whereas any could possibly claim to feel blessed and stressed, more blessed and stressed, or too blessed to possibly become a de-stress, or to supposedly have become of a status as that being. I'm just chilling for the moment in a public branch library before closing time. Now I have, something like a half an hour, 30 minutes of broadcasting rights and privileges for the atmosphere for this public facility as we have it for its premises properties, whereas I myself am in attendance, receiving free Wi-Fi up until the time that I myself, or person of my same self, could possibly get back to my own pad as in place of residence of a unit's atmosphere of apartment where I pay annual monthly rent, utilities, and etc. And unfortunately, within not just one of the worst, but in one of the worstest incendiary neighborhood communities, and therefore I have not just the worst, but some such the worstest public nuisances or problem neighbors, being the likes among themselves of AKA neighbors from damn hell, whereas from there I could exercise my rights and privileges to broadcast via my own personal Wi-Fi. But I'm here now at the moment, you know, trying to get a change of scenery. Although I would like to be of the company of, college and university students elsewhere, you know, compared to this public atmosphere that we have here, if you know what I mean. All kinds of persons otherwise. Uh, Nutcases or crackpots, wacko jobs, not to mention the derelict transients who could possibly remind me of certain neighbors in question of the derelict transients or public nuisances or problem neighbors. Then the likes among themselves, as I was saying, stated for the record much earlier, of AKA proverbial neighbors from damn hell. Oh, that's announcements. The library will be closing in 30 minutes. Please make your final selection. Closing in 30 minutes. Take all books to the ground floor circulation center there. Make your final selection. All computer printouts will pick up at the third floor computer counter. Library card application and print request will be accepted for 10 more minutes. Thank you. Yeah. But prior to coming here to this one public library branch facility, being which is the main headquarters library to be possibly considered within the business and school hub of our fair city, a great metropolis. as it is for the city of metropolitan Chicago, Illinois, USA, within the Midwest, upon the North American continent, or the Western Hemisphere of our international global circumference of the planet Earth, within our own atmospheres, stratosphere, uh, galaxy of the universe. Whereas prior to making my arrival here, I was in attendance at, you know, a local free eating spot of a soup kitchen, being one of those that moonlights as a food pantry compared to other ones that don't come off like so, or to be considered as being other likes. And then from there, I went to one of my much more regularly attended compared to my compared to one of my less frequented self-help recovery program meetings. Prince of Peace continued regularly in mind that our Prince of Peace to conclude my speech, regardless of whether or not my person was speaking the correct, proper, standard English grammar as we have with the American dialect, for that being of our own adopted native tongue with all of its grammatical uses, being of qualities and quantities. Yes. And as I myself being or person of my saying self am not only a recovering chronic alcoholic, but I'm also a recovering reefer addict. And whereas I have been sober for at least, let me see, what is it? One, two, or three. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a charm's lollipop? Say lollipop, not pussy pop. No, I am not of the rank and file. Uh, the male sexual predator animal monster. And as the late Tricky Dick would say, one of our late presidents of the USA, one of our late presidents of DC, of our nation's capital. Although at one time, I was confused with the likes, speaking upon those man now they come to mind. For these premises and properties, they have a jail within these facilities somewhere about. I had been escorted to it and has filled out and signed some of such paperwork documents, whereas the guy or fellow dude that had me fill out and sign some of such, he had the major part of the paperwork documents covered, you know, whereas I could only see where I myself am supposed to, either print or write my signature. And whereas even today I don't know what I could have possibly signed, whereas that's filled out as in signed with my signature, and I could have possibly been signing my life away to become a Frankenstein monster sci-fi project of a medical establishment, God forbid. And yeah, was I was grilled pretty much so by the public library security guards and the regular po boys in blue as in Chicago police officers. And fortunately for me, I was blessed, whereas I was not carted off to the can or to the crazy off of both those two camps. Then because not any witnesses had showed up at that given moment in time. So I was freed upon my own recognizance only after I had, signed that paper document, you know, for the atmosphere of premises property as we have it, for their own jail within the disclosed area for the premises properties of this being of a Chicago Public Branch Library and the main headquarters, Chicago Branch Public Library, within the downtown vicinity area for this neighborhood community, being as it is the business and school hub of our city, and I never want to become subjected to experiencing something of an incident as that ever again. It has me reflect upon how, at some of such given moment of time, I had become subjected to experiencing that of a similar social situation. Not that I had meant to sound, it seemed like I'm contradicting myself, but at one time or another, I was sent to the can, and due to some kind of a technical error upon the part of somebody, I was sent to the can, whereas the toilet was in the flow. I kid you not. And it was like pretty much so some such facility from a cross between minimum and maximum, somewhere where, you know, Mexican drug cartel lords as well as Islamic Muslim terrorists could possibly be sent. Unfortunately, somebody had caught the computer error, the computer glitch, and was telling somebody else he's not, he being me, I myself, yours truly, or somebody was saying he's not supposed to be here. There's some kind of mix up. He's not supposed to be upon these premises of property. We got to process him out of here, hopefully within the next 24 hours, or better yet, within the next hour. And that's what they did. I was thankful for that. I was practically, if not possibly, you know, peeing or pissing and crapping in my drawers, thinking about that facility where I was, confined, to put it like that, to put it mildly. I hate to use that word, incarcerated, unless I am resuming my legal studies as a former ex paralegal student, you know, whereas I have yet to get back with that program, being as it is a case of situation after having become subject to experiencing that what would be commonly called and are commonly known as a double standard of racial profiling, you know, after I had gotten into it with another fellow student, being of a different race, but a male of the same sex. And whereas, although I was in the right and he was in the wrong, they believed him over me being because he himself was of a different race of people. Although I don't really consider myself as being black or white, but just an American citizen. And first and foremost, a Christian of the Protestant persuasion as a believer in God. Anyway, though, that's the way the cookie crumbles when you look like you are black, regardless of whether or not you are. I'm a mixed breed, though, you know, of a biracial or multiracial person, you know. Yeah. So, after I was, how you say, escorted by security guards off the premises of properties, regardless of whether it was for a local facility, be it public or private, for a college or university, I had gotten stuck with some like thousands of dollars of old past school debt, you know, and until I could be blessed with another job or status of employment, or unless I myself am still qualified for a grace period of, to strike off those student loans and financial aid package otherwise, you know, then I would still be in quite a bit of a quagmire trying to think to pay it back for that some such given moment in time, But I'm not going to worry about it. As they say, it's all good in the hood, you know. Yeah, who goes there? But then, public aid has cut my food stamps. And speaking upon some of such other matters, I don't know why they did that once again, but something like the consecutive given moment in time of extenuating circumstances, or hopefully they would not. That so far, some of such other department or agency would not have, cut down on benefits otherwise for a person who is partially disabled. But then, do any of you all know about some of such proposed plan? So I have gathered of a line of thought, whereas they say that our beloved president of the USA or president-elect, former ex-president Donald J. Trump, has put a freeze upon many social service departments. That's including that being of which services or make provisions for persons who are upon a limited fixed income in due regard in reference to housing, whereas you know a housing agency or organization would pay the majority or most of the rent that is due compared to how the tenant would pay a small portion. And whereas I had gathered some line of thought in due regard in reference to how, President Donald J. Trump is supposed to be stipulating that he will give that particular agency or organization at least a couple or 2 years before it will be defunded. Hopefully not, hopefully just a mere line of thought that is being circulated, throughout cyberspace, compliments of the conspiracy theorists. That's hopefully it's just a bogus conspiracy theory. Because I cannot afford to pay full rent anywhere, being as I am on a limited fixed income. That's a scary thought for even a believer in God, as I am of the Protestant persuasion, to have to think about. Not to mention an unsaved non-believer, unbeliever, to think that, funds could be cut. And I'm not looking forward to possibly becoming one of the derelict transients or homeless persons, you know, having to hit the streets, to be out of doors again, been there, done that, don't want to do it again. And because that's something to think about. And I'm not a stranger to that kind of existence, you know. 3 hots in a cot, looking in the direction of others to give you a play, give you freebies to help you exist, you know, as you don't have that other funds or the means to exist on your own, you know. Yes, that's a scary thought to have to think about. Other than that, on this last note of interest, I would like to say, if you haven't gotten Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, think to do so now. That is to accept His salvation while you still can. Well, people down hell want ice water, where it's better to catch hell in this world. Enough as it is. You all take care. We out. Peace.